All right, hello and welcome everybody. This is a strength and stretch class. So we exercise with calorie burn and muscle building the engine to later burn calories for the first 40 minutes or so, something like that. And then for the last 15 minutes ish, we stretch. So we do a recovery stretch at the end of this session. Strength and stretch for this class. Let's get warmed up. As usual, I like to have a chair handy, wall space handy is nice, weights are nice, resistance bands. I don't have resistance bands, so I don't instruct with them very much, but you step on them and you pull. And if you can figure out the body mechanics on those, they work great as well. I just don't have any. You don't need any of that equipment, but just kind of the more access you have to stuff, the more postures you can get in and more movements we can do. Let's jog in place a little bit. Great to have you guys today. Hope you are doing well, feeling well, resting well, living well. Which we can't count on every day, right? But we can do our best. And I'm feeling pretty good today. I hope you guys are too. All right. Oh, and water. You want to have water on hand. I guess I've got tea on hand today. That's my water. That's not going to be a very refreshing break, but that's all right. Tea's good for me. Jogging, shaking out the arms. You've got to get warmed up. We've all got to get warmed up before doing a class like this. You want the muscles and other soft tissues too ready for safe action. All right, nice wide feet. Let's turn the head left and right. At least a few times. Shrug and roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Big shoulder rolls if you can. Switching directions, up, forward, and down. And settle down there. Still sinking down at the knees and hips. You don't need to do a deep squat, right? This is just to unlock the knees so that there's some cushion there and blood flowing in the back of them, right? So that we're not locked out and snapped straight with the legs. Give them a little bend. Rotate the spine, not the knee. So don't plant the foot and twist the knee. Instead, just a little bit of rotation here from the waist up. I'm not trying to crack my back, right? I'm not going as fast as I can or as hard as I can with that. It's just a gentle movement, tiny touch of momentum, mostly in control, right? For the spine, the ribs, everything kind of in this core midsection. All right, I'm gonna pause over at one side, take a nice deep breath and expand the lungs and the ribs. Exhale, unwind to the other side. Nice deep breath, expanding the lungs and the ribs. And exhale, unwind, bring the feet a little closer together. Circles with the hips. These are our hula hoop circles to get the hips warmed up. All right, as usual, you guys know to take as many breaks as your body needs, right? You don't need to wait for me to take a break in order to take a break yourself. The same is true for the reverse. If I'm taking a break or if I'm describing moves and you're not ready to stop, you want to keep on jogging or to keep on doing the previous move or you're ready to move ahead, you are welcome to do that, right? Get the most out of your time, burn those calories, challenge your strength, switch directions here, switching directions. And, move, fight through fatigue, but don't push through pain. Don't push through pain. If you get sharp pain, you've got to modify. Modify anything and everything that you need in order to make this a safe and successful class for yourself, right? I offer some different suggestions and modifications, but over, the course of several weeks, you usually see most of the moves that I offer, and then you can kind of see, maybe I can exchange that move out for another move, even if Kelly's not showing them in a given week. All right, marching the knees, getting the hip flexors awake here. These are the muscles at the top of the legs. I don't feel them warming up, right? But I know that they are because my knees are rising. So it's just a low pedal. It's not a high abdominal crunch, just a low pedal here. All right. And let's get our little bit of aerobic section out of the way. This really gets the blood pumping, right? We want to freshen up those stale cells that have blood in them, and we want to kind of get new blood, new oxygen, new nutrients throughout the system. Breathing. You can move around if you like. I did not mention yoga mats. You don't need yoga mats. These are on the floor mostly so that I know how to stay within your view, right? They can be a tripping hazard, right? So don't catch your toe on the edge of a yoga mat or a rug or anything like that. I'd recommend either a hard surface or just whatever it is, a continuous surface, so it's not no tripping hazards. Safety, safety. All right, side jacks. Tap the toe out as the arms come up. Tap and tap. I would call these sloppy side jacks because I keep my elbows slightly bent. I don't like stiff, straight arms for this. It feels like it's more vulnerable on my shoulders. So I just toss the arms up, tapping the toes out. It's not aggressive. It's not a strength move. It's not a range of motion test. It's just a gentle warm up with a little bit of cardiovascular benefit here. All right, add a little punching as we keep stepping. Punch forward as we step left and right. Stepping right, punching right, stepping left, punching left. You might even punch slightly across the body, kind of at a diagonal if you prefer. Forward or diagonal, you choose. All right, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Reaching on up, these are the high knee pull downs. Squeeze the core, this is our first core warm up. Reaching up and we pull down as the knee rises. Give it a good exhale as that knee rises. Reach, reach, okay. As you exhale, you're really squeezing those stomach muscles, the abdominals. And you don't have to reach all that high, to be honest. If you reach super duper high, just, mind your shoulders. If they're bugging you, don't reach as high. Breathing, eyes stay forward. You don't want to look left and right at me or a mirror or a dog walking by, whatever it is. You don't want to look side to side for most of these moves today. Usually you want to keep your eyes in line with your sternum. Whatever direction that's pointing, eyes go straight forward. For some moves, that'll be directly down at the ground. All right, I think we're pretty warmed up. Shake out the arms. Shake out the legs. Nice deep breath. And the first move that I like to start with is a plank. Let me get my timer here. I would do a 1 minute timer for our circuit. Our first move out of 3 moves for this circuit will be a plank. You can do this at the wall with a nice tight core, fairly straight line from the heels, hips, shoulders, and ears. You can do this at the floor, right? Same thing, straight line, heels, hips, shoulders, and ears. Or you can do this. My favorite is at the chair. I like this one. Nice tight core, fairly straight line. You don't want to droop down with the waist. Keep it straight, squeeze, and give good exhales combined with squeezing those stomach muscles. Let's start our timer, and here we go. So 1 minute in, counting. You don't have to last the whole minute. I encourage you to try, fight through fatigue, but if it's getting unsafe, always come out of a move. You can always skip an entire move if it just doesn't feel safe from the get-go. Eyes should stay straight down. Don't look at me. Don't look at a mirror. Look straight down at the chair, the floor, or the wall. Whatever your hands are on, really. Breathing, tuck the chin back a little bit. Give a good exhale and squeeze the abdominals. We are getting there. I like to start with this one because it really primes the core, right? It primes the spine for safety throughout the class. You still have to, focus on, having a straight spine. You can't get all crazy with it, but this is a good start for that safety. Almost done here. And there we go, coming on up. Shake it out, shake it out. I'm gonna set that chair out of the way just a little bit there. Shaking out the arms. And we'll get the heart rate going here with a squat, punch, okay? This could be isometric, where you just kind of saddle up and sit in one spot and then you just punch. I'm gonna add a little bit of bouncing, right? Kind of total body, a little bit more on the legs, I think, on effort for this one. The arms are there and they're moving, but for me, I feel this in the quadriceps. So I'm gonna sink down and I'm gonna throw fists straight forward, adding just a little bit of a bounce. You decide on the depth for your body, right? It could be very low, it could be higher, but we're just bouncing and punching. Here's our 1 minute timer. If it gets to be too long, come out of it, take a break. Sinking down and punch. Breathing, and I've got pretty wide feet, you can see that. Wide feet, wide stance, okay? If it's narrower, that's fine. But you just want to make sure that your tail is tucked and your spine is fairly vertical, right? Fairly straight. You don't want to round the back. Okay, so that helps. For me, that helps to have a nice wide base of support for this move. Breathing. All right, our next move is a combination of a curl and an overhead press. It's called an Arnold press, and I'll demonstrate that. If you already know it, you're welcome to move right into it after the timer. And mind your shoulders, by the way, on this next move. There's our timer. I just happened to push the button right when it went off. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Those are our first two moves. Our third out of 3 moves looks like this. I'm gonna grab light weights, they're down here. Do a curl, come out, and press. Now, if your shoulders are bugging you today, don't do an overhead press, right? Just do the curl, come out maybe, and then come back down. Or just do the curl, forget about this coming out business, okay? So here's what it looks like with weights. You're welcome to get started if you know the move. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, curl. I just prepare out a little ways, and then I press. Come back down, unwind, okay? When I say come out, what I mean is, instead of having my elbows straight forward, I come out a little ways. This is too far for me. This is like lined up with my body. I like this kind of 45-degree angle, slightly forward, slightly out. It just feels a little bit more safe and natural for my movement. I would say most people will probably like that 45-degree angle, but you listen to your body. Here's our timer. Okay, safety on this. I like to have 1 foot forward and 1 foot back for good front to back stability. You don't need to be like lunged necessarily, but curl, out, and press. Control it down, control it down. You can technically have feet side to side, right? That's fine, but you don't want to sway. You don't want to swing the weights forward or anything. Okay, so I'm gonna have 1 foot forward and press. Control it down. Listen to your body on how much resistance you can tolerate. If it's feeling like too much and it's unsafe, right, you're wiggling around just to get the weights up, you might need to reduce that resistance. Pick up something a little bit lighter. All right, after this is move 3 out of 3. I'm gonna go back to move number 1, which was the plank. Down and down. Up and up. And our timer's going off, but I like to finish out my rep, my set. All right, here's our first move. I'm gonna go back into it. This is our plank. Timer's going, take your time getting there. I did mine at the chair last time. So I'm actually gonna come down to the floor this time. You could go to the wall. If you do the floor, I think this has the potential to be the most challenging because you're more horizontal. You are welcome to come down to your elbows even. And I'll show you something I learned from another therapist actually. I love this. If you're just in this posture, you're at a certain level of intensity. But if you decide to try pulling your elbows down toward your toes and your toes up toward your elbows, kind of like you're crunching the ground together. Ooh, I'll tell you what, that takes it to a whole nother level. So I'm drawing my elbows back down toward my toes, and it's so intense, I've got to take a break. I got to take a quick rest out of that, and then I might go back into it. Make sure you're breathing. Pulling the elbows down toward my toes. There's our timer. Thank goodness. All right, come on up slow and steady, especially if you got down to the floor. Move number 2, whenever you're ready. Nice wide squat, sink down, and we're punching. I'm gonna set my timer aside, sink down, and punching. Okay, so just like this. Could be a deeper squat, could be a shallower squat, up to you. I like to add a little bounce, but you could just do a place and hold on the legs. Tuck the tail so the spine is nice and vertical. And you can punch downward, across, straight forward, whatever's comfortable for your body. Tell you what, my quadriceps are not feeling what I would call comfort right now. But they're feeling effort, right? Fight through fatigue. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Fatigue is good. That means we're working it. That means we're using our fuel. I don't know about brain fatigue. That doesn't feel good to me. I like to be mentally alert. But body fatigue, yeah. Using it. Use it or lose it, right? Anyway, but don't push through pain. All right, next up, Arnold press. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. I had my left foot forward before on the last round, so I'm gonna have my right foot forward this time, mostly for stabilization symmetry, right? That just means you use certain muscles to stand with 1 foot forward, and I wanna make sure that I'm as symmetrical as possible, right? Curl, out, and press. Go your own pace, don't swing the weights. Here's our timer. I'm gonna get my weights here. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Shoulder blades pull back, nice. Vertical spine, tuck the tail, and curl. Remember, go your pace, don't go mine. Make sure we're breathing. I like to exhale during this curl up. Well, that's just my preference. Slow and steady up. Good control down. And this is move number 3 out of 3. I'm going to take a formal resting break after this. Coming up in just a second. You're welcome to keep on moving. As usual. There's our timer. I'm going to set these down. Take a brief break if you like. I'm going to get my sip of water. Oh, yep, that's right. It's a sip of tea today. Anyway, I'm going to get my refreshment. Hey everybody, don't forget to subscribe really quick if you want to see more videos like these. Warm water. Bleh, not refreshing at all. Anyway, it's good to wet the whistle, I guess. Anyway, shake out the arms, shake out the legs, take a brief break, or keep on moving. Up to you. It's your hour, right? Here we go. Second circuit. That was our first circuit of 3 moves, 2 rounds. This is our next circuit. We're going to start off pretty strong here with a compound movement. Let me demonstrate here first. This move is a kettlebell swing. I do it with quite a bit of control. If you see the CrossFit community do it, I'm not dinging them, I'm not knocking them for this. This is, it's just a different technique. I see a little bit more momentum in the CrossFit community. If you know how to do that very well and safe for your body, fantastic. The way I'm gonna teach you today is a little bit slower and steadier. Here's what it looks like. Shoulder blades back, nice vertical spine, sink at the knees and hips. As you stand, the weight comes forward. As you sink down, the weight goes down. And it's very controlled. There might be a touch of momentum as you get used to the movement, right? A front shoulder raise essentially with a squat. keeping the spine nice and vertical with a tight core. You want to keep the core firm. We don't swing down and face the ground. We don't swing up any higher than the height of the shoulder. So we don't want them up here, just here, or lower, okay? It's not a deep squat. I think I've said enough. If you guys know the move, get going on it. Great. I don't use a kettlebell because I don't have a kettlebell. Timer's going. Kettlebells are, it's like a ball with a loop on top. I say loop, but it's a full piece of hard material. It's like a cast iron ball with a loop on top. Looks like a big old fish weight to me. If you've got them, you're welcome to use it. I like to hold on to a weight on its end. Just don't drop your weight. So I look like I'm going faster than my demonstration, right? I'm used to the move. I'm good with this much momentum. That feels good to me. You're welcome to speed it up if it feels safe. Make sure we're breathing. I like to exhale on the way up. Make sure we're squeezing the core. Let me turn to the side here just a little bit. So slow motion looks like this. And then I'm going to speed it up. Compound movement. This is move number 1 out of 3 for this series. There we go. There's our timer. I'm going to set this aside. We don't want any tripping hazards for our next move. Get everything out of the way. This is called tipping and kicking. I tip left and kick right, tip right and kick left. Doesn't matter to me which side you're on. If you have any issues with balance, you'll want to hold on to the back of a chair or a wall, like this. Tipping and kicking, tipping and kicking. I don't have any issues with balance today, I guess, I should say. And I still like to hold on to a wall, right? It just takes that element of stability out of it and you're really just using the body, using the fuel, using the calories, right? So I'm gonna do that. If you like to add a squat, if you've got the energy for it today and the knees and hips for it today, sink down as your toe touches the ground, right? And add just a little bit of a dip. Okay, I like to add that in. I feel like it gives me a little bit better workout, so I'm gonna add that. Here's our timer. I'll face a wall. Do what works for you. Tip and kick, squat. If you're adding the squat, do it quietly, right? You're not offending anybody with noise, but if you do it quietly, you're controlling your body weight down, which is using a little bit more energy, a little bit safer on the joints also, but it's just more effective, right? Another added challenge. Good work. Make sure we're breathing, tipping and kicking. Try to keep a nice tight core, even though we're tipping left and right. The spine should be protected. Good work. This is move number 2 out of 3. Next move. I'm going to do an alternating, sorry, not alternating. Alternating biceps curl. So left and right. I'll show you what I mean. Give the legs a brief break here. Shake it out, shake it out. Okay. Here's our weights. If you've got weights, great. If you don't, that's fine. You might grab grocery bags and stuff some cans of soup in it or something to give yourself some resistance. You can technically squeeze muscles without resistance, without weights, but I get a little bit more out of having some kind of stimulus, right? Something to hold on to. I'm gonna look like this. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Alternating is left, right, like this. Okay? I'm good with vertical weights, like a hammer curl. Horizontal weights, supinated curl, or some kind of combination, right? Let's see, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, vertical spine. Same stuff as all the other things with like Arnold press. Same posture, right? 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. I'm gonna get started here. If your weights feel light, you might be able to go a little bit faster, but if your weights feel heavy, you definitely want to slow it down. Okay, if your weights are feeling heavy, it's not easier to slow it down. It's actually harder, but it is safer, right? So it's a lot safer if you slow things down if it feels heavy. This is kind of on the lighter side for me, so I might speed it up a little bit. But even with some speed, I'm not looking like I'm jogging, right? I'm not throwing and swinging the weights. Still want to control them up and control them down. Keep on going there. Just going to show you this. If they were heavier, right, for me, that's all relative, then I definitely need to slow it down and control each movement. Okay? So you decide your intensity level today with the resistance that you have. If you're using bands, they get harder if you have a shorter band or a thicker band, right? All right, I'm gonna set those down. There we go, there's our 3 moves. Shake it out, shake it out. Take a break if you need it. I'm not going to, I'm gonna keep on moving for those who wanna keep on moving. These are the kettlebell swings, nice wide feet, swinging a weight forward and down, okay? I'll start our timer. There will be a little bit less break time in between each, whoops, for this round, because I've already described all the moves. Sink down, good old sink and swing. Sometimes I call these the, what is it, kettlebell swings, elephant trunks. Swinging forward and down. I'm so tempted to try to make an elephant noise, but you know, I'll save that for another time. All right, keep on going there. Just another view for you guys. Small amount of momentum, if anything. Move number 2 in this series will be tipping and kicking. Add a squat if you like. There we go. I'm going to set this out of the way. We especially don't want any tripping hazards for this next move because it's a lot of movement. Get to a chair or holding onto a chair if you need any help with stability. I like to hold onto a wall, so I'll do that. Another thing with stability is you don't have to kick very high, right? These could be low kicks, okay? I'm gonna kick higher, and I'm gonna add a squat. Do what works for you. Squeezing the core, maybe even stay low the whole time, kind of weight shifting kick. Ooh, that's good, I like that. Not locking out the knees. Just a light kick left and right. And a nice soft landing. After this, alternating bicep curls. Left and right, you decide the resistance level based on what you have around. Squeeze the muscles, be very intentional with your pace. Great work. We're almost two circuits down. There's our timer. I'm gonna get to my weights right away. Take your time getting there, no rush. And I'll do my heavier weights this time, sure. Okay, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. I don't know which one I had forward last time. Curling. Alternating left and right. Eyes should stay straight forward. Like I said earlier, we don't want to look left and right here. We want to keep our eyes in line with our sternum. Mine's facing straight forward right now, along with my sternum, along with my chest, right? Shoulder blades back, tuck the tail, nice vertical spine, and make sure we're breathing. We don't want to hold our breath and do a Valsalva maneuver. So I sort of supinate at the top and do the hammer at the bottom, but you're welcome to hammer the whole time, which is vertical placed weights, or supinate the whole time. But there's our timer. So that's our second round of our second circuit. I'm gonna get some water here, or tea for me. Shake it out. If you don't need a break, keep on jogging, that's fine with me. I do encourage breaks though, right? Breaks are good. The heart rate intervals, right? That's what helps with that cardiovascular health. Cycling up and down. You don't want to just stay intense the whole time. You're going up and down and up and down. That's good calorie burn, right? Okie dokie, everybody. I'm such a dork, aren't I? Okay, okie dokie. Final round here. So, not final round. Final circuit, and then we'll get to our stretches. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs, jogging in place a little bit. All right, this will be a good one. This move is a wide squat touchdown. It was typically done like this, wide feet, and your hands would touch the ground, right? That's pretty deep, for me included, right? That's like your hips are going lower than your knees. I don't like that ergonomic. I don't like that mechanism of the hips going lower than the knees. So what I do is I hold on to a weight as an extension of my arms. I'm not holding onto the weight to be extra beefy, right? To lift more necessarily. It's an extension of my arms so that I don't have to squat quite as low. So wide squat, touchdown. Another option with that is squatting at a chair. So instead of my arms being longer, the surface that I'm reaching is higher. Nice wide feet, squatting and touching the chair. Okay, so you're welcome to do it any way you like, but I'm gonna have wide feet here, and I'm gonna grab my weight and use that as my squatting tool. Here's our timer. You decide what weight you wanna use. Nice wide feet, tapping and up. Now when you come up, try not to lock the knees out, okay? That would be considered like an unintentional rest. You're just standing there suspended on connective tissue. We want to keep the knees unlocked so that the muscles are still working as much as possible. So tap and up. And you're just coming shy of all the way up. Now, if you want an intentional rest, sure, make it an intentional rest. Make it a fully purposeful rest period if you need it. We just don't want to accidentally sneak them in. You could also just stay lower like this. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot of effort for me. Whew. So wide squat, touchdown. I'm gonna need a break after this one. Oh my goodness. And coming together. Set that weight aside. Here's our timer. All right. Okay, next up. This is a little bit of shoulders and a little bit of legs. A lot of bit of shoulders and a little bit of legs. Narrow feet, this is another compound movement. And I'm calling it a narrow squat with a lateral shoulder raise, lateral arm raise. That being said, it's really not a deep squat today. Some days, I come down real low, intentionally, and then I come back up. Today, I'm not going to. I'm gonna come down to where the weights are maybe just above my knees, and they're essentially working, right? They're working to add a little bit of oomph to get the weights up. You still want to have weights that you can control independently with just your arms, but it's just getting everything to move together. A lot like the kettlebell swing where we go forward, right? I'm gonna grab my lightest weights for this, especially for the shoulders. Shoulders are very vulnerable, right? They're very mobile, they're not very stable, they move in all sorts of directions, and they can get in pinch really easily. So narrow feet with space in between the feet, narrow knees with space in between the knees. It's just a little bit of a dip and out. Partial range of motion is great for this move. You could make this very low, and I'll demonstrate that as we go here. I think I've talked about this move quite a bit before, so if you know it, let's get going. Here's our timer. So again, my lightest weights, shoulder blades back and down, sink at the knees and hips just a little bit, straight spine though, we're not rounding and hunching the back, and we just come out. This is a small amount of range of motion. You're welcome to come all the way up to parallel with the ground or the height of the shoulders, but no higher than that. We don't want to do that. Might pinch the shoulders. Okay? Slow and steady, controlled movement. You don't want to pivot around like I'm doing. I'm just giving you another view. Shoulder blades back, nice vertical spine. Moving the legs a little bit, but it's mostly shoulders. Pull the shoulder blades down. Don't shrug them up toward the ears like this, right? Keep them down, down, down. Which feels a little goofy. You can bend the elbows even a little bit. That's fine, especially if it feels very heavy. And there's our timer. Oh boy. All right. Come out of that, shake it out, shake it out. All right, our next move. These are gonna be for the glutes, right? We've done a lot for the quadriceps. Glutes are part of the legs, but it's, it feels a little bit different. I think you'll notice. This move, you want a vertical spine, so straight up and down as one leg goes out, and then the other leg goes out. It's a pendulum, right? But it's not with momentum. You want to go slow. If you use momentum, one, it's not safe, but two, it's not effective because you're cheating yourself, right? You're using the leverage of momentum to carry your foot. You want to go slow. The height's not critical. Slow. The height's not critical. I like to hold on to a chair or a wall, so you decide what works for you. I'll hold on to a chair this time. Normally I hold on to the wall because I like to be nice and perfectly vertical. Here's what the chair will look like. Okay, and I'll start our timer. You want a pretty vertical spine. Okay, you're not tipping left and right. It's not the tipping and kicking move, right, that we did earlier. Breathing, working hard. Guys are doing awesome. Squeezing the glutes as the legs come out. Timer's going. 30 seconds left. Slow and steady, and you can always take a break if you need to. All right, this is move number 3 out of 3 for this circuit, which means we'll go back to move number 1. That was the wide squat touchdown. Right? Legs have a lot of the muscle tissue in the body. Right? A big majority of the muscle is in the legs. There's our timer. And so by using those muscles in this class, we're burning more calories, right? It's a bigger engine, okay? So wide squat touchdowns. If you're touching the floor, that's fine, but it's not my preference. I prefer to not squat quite as low, either touching a chair or holding onto a weight and touching the ground with that weight. Maybe I will try to be a little beefy this time and use a heavier weight myself. Really no requirement there. The weight is for an extension of the arms. It's not necessarily for more resistance, although I'm gonna give it a shot. Here we go. I'll hold on to this slightly heavier one. Shoulder blades back, nice vertical spine, and wide squat touchdown. That's not too bad, I kinda like it. Now legs are pretty strong, right? It's not like I just massively increased how much my legs are working. They're carrying your body weight all day, standing and sitting and moving. Tap, and don't necessarily come up all the way unless you want that rest. Okay, I'm going to turn to the side just for another view. Eyes are still straight forward. Next up, the narrow squat with the lateral arm raise. Oh, and it's feeling like a lot. Remember, it's not a deep squat for this next one. It's really not supposed to be targeting the legs. They're just involved, right? Keeping the heart rate up, keeping the body moving. Whew. That's good. All right, narrow feet, space between the feet. Narrow knees, space between the knees. This is just so that the weights can come down. Partial range of motion's fine. All the way up toward the shoulder, to the shoulder height is fine. I'm out of breath. This is real. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna get my lightweight still. Right, there's times where I wanna be tough and pick up heavy weights and whatever. Put on a lot of muscle so that I have a better engine for calorie burn, that kind of stuff. Not for the shoulders for this, especially when I get more and more fatigued, right? Then we're increasing our risk, our safety risk. As we get more and more fatigued, often our form falls by the wayside. We don't want that. We want to keep on being nice and strong, good sturdy structure, a small squat, good control on the way up and out. And again, I'm picking up my light weights this time, just like last time for this one. Tuck the chin back, vertical spine, eyes stay straight forward. We don't want to look left and right, especially while the shoulder blades are moving and the neck is moving. Or sorry, the neck shouldn't be moving as the shoulders are moving. No higher than the height of the shoulders. There we are. We are one move away from stretching, my friends. All right. And I'm getting sweaty. Whew. Hooray. Okay. Vertical spine, leg out, down, leg out, down. Go slow, go steady. I'm going to hold on to the wall this time. I did the chair last time. Timer's going. You don't have to wait for me. Vertical spine. The height of the leg is not critical here, right? It could be low. If you're getting pinching in your nerves, maybe change it a little bit. Come back a little bit instead of straight out to the sides. If you're getting sharp pains, if you're getting numbness, achiness, tingling, anything like that, all right, change what you're doing. We don't want to bother the piriformis, things like that. We don't want to bother your sciatic nerve. Breathing here. And almost done. Good work today, everybody. There's our final timer. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Let's get to a recovery stretch portion of this class. And I'm gonna need to include the glutes, I think, because we just ended with some of that. So, shake out the arms, shake out the legs, get a sip of water if you need it, and let's stretch. Hope you guys are doing well, feeling well. It's the end of that T. All right, shaking out the arms, roll the shoulders, right? The cool down is gonna look a lot like the warm up, but we'll also do some stretches. Roll the shoulders, switch directions, turn the head, march the knees just a little bit, circles with the hips. And I'm not gonna twist the spine right now. Switch directions with the hips. All right, you guys are awesome. Okay, first off, I'm gonna start with the glutes because they're a little tight from that last move. If you're standing, and I don't usually do a static standing glute stretch, but I'll do this brief active standing glute stretch, and then I'll get to a chair and show you the chair option. I like the chair option the best, but here we are. Come up with a knee, take your opposite hand, and reach across and pull it across just a little bit. So it's left knee pulls to the right, right knee pulls to the left. I just held on to my chair and tipped it. So chairs are not safe. So knee up and across. It's just a gentle up and across, right? Not trying to twist the ankles, don't twist the knees. Just pull the hip across a little bit. Okay, so there you go. You keep doing that if you like the standing version. If you're in a chair, this one's great. Cross the leg over, give it a hug back. That might be all you need. Or if this is your right leg and you want a little bit more out of the right glutes here, pull across, pull to the left, which gives us a little bit of tension on the right hips here, pulling across the body. Okay, stay there longer if you'd like. I'm gonna switch sides though. Crossing, pull straight back, or pull across the body. A little bit of tension in the glutes. Okay. Keep going there if that is a good stretch for you. If you need more attention there, go for it. Next up, this is going to be a hamstring stretch, a very mild, active hamstring stretch. So you want to hold on to a chair or a wall or whatever for some stability. Heel down, toe up, heel down, toe up. The leg can be fairly straight, but it's okay if there's a slight bend in it as well. What you're looking for is a little bit of tension in the backs of the legs here, okay? So here's what it looks like from the side. Heel down, toe up, heel down, toe up. And if you're in a chair, I like to use my hands so that my hip flexors don't overactivate, right? Picking up the knee activates those hip flexors. So I'm gonna use my hands to help support. Even if I have the strength, I don't really wanna strain it and, you know, bug it out. Hip flexors don't feel good for like a week for me. It's just a bother, right? So picking up the leg a little bit, extending the knee. It doesn't need to go perfectly straight. Like I've said before, it is not a joint mobilization exercise. It's a soft tissue elasticity exercise. So the knee does not need to lock out straight, right? Instead, just give it some extension. If it goes pretty straight, then great, but mine has a little bend in it there. If I pick up my knee even higher, it's gonna have a bigger bend. That's all fine as long as you get a little bit of tension, emphasis on a little bit, underneath the leg here. Up, up. Okay. Try to be even on both sides, which is not hard to do if you're just alternating. Okay. All right, so extend and bend. Shake out the legs a little bit. And there we go. I'm gonna stand. I'm still gonna use a chair for this next exercise. These are the adductors, the muscles in between the legs. They bring the legs together, right, during a jumping jack. I like to use the chair to put my hands on for this stretch, but you can also do this at a wall if you don't have a chair. And you're just wide stance, weight shifting left and right, pushing the hips downward. I think you'll see what I'm doing better from the chair. So I'll hold on to the chair here. Nice wide feet. Weight shifting left and right. That inner leg is what I'm looking for. So my right leg pushes down, switch sides, left leg pushes down. From behind, just so you can see the width of my stance, that is pretty important for this move. You want your stance wider than your sway, okay? If your hips go beyond your feet, you're probably not gonna get a lot out of the adductors, the inner leg. You want your feet wider than where your hips go so that you can get some tension on that inner leg, right? Weight shifting. Now, this is a great move to multitask with if you pull backward at the same time. So side and back. Awesome. You get some hamstrings at the same time. Mine are really sore right now, so I'm liking this multitask. So forward, side, back. Forward, other side, back. Okay, and it doesn't have to be that choppy. It can be a little more smooth and round, but that's the idea. Pull back for the stretch, rounding to the other side. So I'm weight shifting to the side, getting that inner line of the leg, and then I'm pulling back, getting the back line of the leg, right? Great for the hammies, great for the, if those are hammies, or these addies. Anyway, the inner leg, the back of the leg. Okay. Next up, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Let's get the hip flexors a little bit here. I don't have a good chair stretch for this. I do this one standing, although you can hold onto a chair for stability if you want. But 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. If you overstep, this move will be harder to do and honestly, possibly impossible to do. If you step too far, right, you won't be able to tuck the tail and move the hips very much. It might even bother your hips. So it's a mild stretch, a mild step back, right? Just like you're walking in the park. I don't know why you're walking backward, but today we are, I guess. Squeeze the glutes, tuck the tail, squeeze the glutes, and push the hips forward. So I usually tuck the tail first, squeeze the glutes, and then I push the hips forward. And you're welcome to rock, kind of bending and extending that front knee just a little bit of bounce, right? Shoulders back, vertical spine. You can reach up if you want to. I get a little bit more tension kind of almost in the lower torso, upper leg, kind of where the pelvic bone, the surrounding areas are right there. If I reach up, not necessary. If you want to rest your arms. Okay. Tip forward, step forward, switch sides. Tuck the tail, squeeze the glutes, and bend and extend that front knee. And it's just a small movement, right? It's just kind of like pulsing front to back. Keep going there. I'm just gonna step a little bit less far, a little bit closer, so I can tuck my tail, squeeze the glutes, and push the hips front to back. Eyes are forward. You might reach up with the arms. Almost looks like a yoga posture, warrior one. Almost. Breathing. And I'm going to tip forward, come out of that, march the knees a little bit here. For the back, we didn't do a ton with the back today, so it's going to be brief. Clasp the hands together, down in the center, come up and out. So even though we didn't do it, it doesn't mean, right, even though it wasn't a target muscle group, it doesn't mean that those muscles were not involved, right? Those muscles were isometrically contracting to keep our shoulder blades down, for example, for this move, and for this move, and for this move, right? So those muscles are keeping things down and in place. It's not just the lats, it's everything in the back it's all involved in working together, even if they weren't the target muscle group. So it's still good to move them a little. Up and out, up and out. Okay, next up, hands at the heart, hands at the center, and I'm going to push left and right. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Okay. Now, come to the center, roll the shoulders back, and roll them forward. There are chest and shoulder stretches that we can do. Often people aren't feeling them. I'm going to run through them just kind of as a reminder, but I'm going to be pretty brief. Right arm comes across. If that's a good stretch for you, then hold it and maybe even turn the body a little bit. If it's pinching your shoulder though, you might come down and across instead, right? Holding above the elbow, pulling down and across. And if it's still pinching, I don't know, you might want to see like a physical therapist. If you've got pinching in the shoulder, you want to recover that, right? Coming across high is my preference, but I don't have pinching in there. Coming across high, and you want to do both sides the same way. Okay? Often people don't feel this tension, one, after that class, because the muscles are more malleable, they're warmed up, they've got good blood flow, but two, because they're just very stretchy, right? Those muscles aren't typically like hamstrings are tight on almost everybody if they're not stretching them regularly. Even if they are, they're stretching them regularly, hamstrings can be tight on a lot of people. These, often people aren't too tight. It's still important to do a recovery stretch for them so they don't get irritated, okay? So you maintain what you have. Chest, like I said, I'm going to be brief. Circle up and back, or do the disco dance, down and across, up and back. Slow and steady though. You don't want to fly through this at all. You want to go slow and steady. Okay? Circles if you prefer. Now I might do more of this later myself because my chest is sore and tight from previous exercises, but we didn't do a ton of it in this class today, so it's not my primary focus. The neck, though, I will spend a little bit of time on that. And we're almost done. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Shrug the shoulders and let them down. Okay, I'm going to point my nose down toward the ground and just rock the forehead left and right here. It's going to look like this. Rocking, slow and steady, center. Left, slow and steady, right, slow and steady. Okay, and you might feel a little bit of tension in the back of the neck. If there's a spot in that pendulum swing where you feel like you need more attention, give it more attention, right? Hold it for 10, 12, 15, 30 seconds. But if you hold it on one side at that angle, you want to hold it on both sides at that angle. Okay, so if I go 35 degrees, whatever, I'm just estimating, to the left, to stretch the back right of my neck, and I hold there for a while, I want to switch to the other side. Again, even if I don't feel tension over here, I want some symmetry in what I do to my body, right? And things even out, or at least attempt to even out over time if we do that. We don't want to overcompensate one side and then we got an issue on both sides, just two different issues, right? So aim to do both things on both sides, okay? Come on up whenever you're ready. Roll the shoulders, both directions. And now, the final move. These are the upper traps, often tight on a lot of people from moves like this, coming out to the sides, accidentally shrugging the shoulders up during an overhead press. It happens a lot. And even if you're not dramatically pulling them up, you can be isometrically squeezing those muscles for stability, right? And then it gets really tight. So here's what we can do. Eyes stay forward, ears to the side. So right ear to the right shoulder. I'm not looking down at the shoulder, my eyes are forward. And I'm gonna breathe in and shrug my shoulders up, which reduces the stretch. And then I'm gonna exhale and pull my fingertips down, the fingertips down toward the ground, looking for a little bit of tension on the side of my neck. This is my left side of my neck because my right ear is toward my right shoulder. Left side is stretched. Come on up. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in. Exhale down. And up. And exhale down. Switching sides. Left ear to the left shoulder. Shrugging on up. Breathing in. 3 good ones. Exhale down. And come on up, breathing in. Now I say 3. I'm doing 3 for the folks who are, in a hurry, you got to go, great. But if you did 15 of these, that would not be a bad thing probably, right? You're not often going to overdo stretches by doing too many. Usually people are overdoing stretches. Come on up again, last one for me. Usually people overdo stretches by doing it too intensely. Not by doing too many, not by doing it too often, but by doing it too hard. And exhale down, the fingertips are going down, stretching the side of the neck. Okay, come on up, slow and steady. Roll the shoulders, settle it down with the shoulders, turn the head left and right. Shake out the arms and legs. If you would like to help spread this channel to other people on YouTube, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the like button, and that'll help YouTube decide that this video is good enough to share with other people. So if you like it and you want other people to see it, go ahead and click those buttons. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.